Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Billy Joe Saunders says he wants $5 million to fight Daniel Jacobs. Stay tuned. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chat channel donations, the Venmo, and the Patreon family. We are working. Now, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Don't kill the messenger. I've given Billy Joe Saunders a lot of praise. I've actually ex-nayed all the bullshit remarks from Golden Boy saying he was a runner in the David Lemieux fight. He did his damn thing. He did what he was supposed to and used his boxing skills, boxing prowess, feet, showmanship, and power punches, countering, all of that, right? So go check the track record. I've been on record giving Billy Joe Saunders a lot of praise for that performance because he took a fight. A lot of people thought it was 50-50, could have went either way-ish. Some people thought he would outbox him. Some people thought David Lemieux had the equalizer power, and he made it look easy, right? But he did an interview with Fight Hype, link in the description. I got to talk about his recent comments. He says Danny Jacobs called him out. He went on Instagram Live after the Saunders-Lemieux fight and said, I want to fight him. This is not the first time. I've talked to Danny Jacobs personally. He says he wants to fight him. He told the public on his Instagram page that he wants to fight him. People talked about it, made videos about it. So it seems like a good fight. It looks like Canelo, I was born ready. Alvarez and Golovkin are going to fight next in a rematch. So Billy Joe Saunders, we don't know his next fight. Daniel Jacobs is with Eddie Hearn now. He's on the HBO side of things, and he's slated to come back at the Barclays in about April. So it seems like things would be aligned perfectly for that fight, right? This is what Billy Joe Saunders said to Fight Hype. Get his management to ring me up and I'll have 5 million pounds and I'll go over there and fight. Give me $5 million, no problem. I'll sign the contract. We'll get him over and I'll fight him. He don't sell in America. His last fight had 2,000 or 1,000 people. Listen, to me, I would prefer a fighter said, I don't want to fight him, or we're not looking that way, or something else. But this sounds like an excuse to not fight him. For the fans, for the Maniac fans would even suggest that Danny Jacobs doesn't deserve a shot. You sound crazy, because Daniel Jacobs is rated in the division. He broke Triple G's 23 knockout streak. I thought he won the fight. Some people thought he lost. Some people thought he won. Either way, he pushed Golovkin and didn't get knocked out, and kind of set a tone for other people that could follow, like Canelo, because he was the first one to not get stopped by Golovkin that went 12. Golovkin has had a couple other people that went the distance with him, but they didn't go 12 rounds with him. So Jacobs, you got to give him credit for that milestone. A lot of people, I even heard Luis Cuba Arias say this before the Jacobs fight. He said, yeah, people giving Jacobs credit for surviving. He did more than survive, for starters. Second of all, nobody else up until that point went 12 with Golovkin. This was before the Canelo fight. So that's one issue. And I don't know what it is with this new age of boxing, but it's just like, of course these fighters have a livelihood, families, mortgages, cars, whatever they have to pay for, but it's like they just keep naming their price. It's funny to me because fighters post-fight, a lot of times they say, who do you want to fight? Max Kellerman or whoever, interview him. Who do you want to fight next? Oh, it's up to my promoters. I'm going to get with my team. But then you have other separate interviews where some of those same fighters who say, hey, it's up to my team, it's up to my promoter, and they're naming their price in the public. You know what I mean? Hey, give me $5 million and I'll fight him. Jeff Horn recently did it with Terrence Crawford. Now we're doing this with Billy Joe Saunders in this interview. And it's sounding crazy because the boxing game is getting scrambled, where you got fighters naming their price, and everyone can have an idea of what they want to get in their head, but they're using this as like a catalyst for the fight happening or not. Give me $5 million and no problem, I'll sign the contract. So if it's $3.5 million, you won't sign the contract, right? And another thing that like I said, I've given Billy Joe Saunders praise, but to me, this looks like you don't want to fight Daniel Jacobs. Another reason is because you traveled to Canada. I'm not sure how much he netted, but he traveled to Canada for David Lemieux, a style that stylistically would suit his style better. Tyson Fury did an interview post-fight where he kind of compared he compared Daniel Jacobs to Lemieux. He says Triple G or Canelo are the only ones that will give Saunders some problems, but he said Jacobs, he compared his style to Lemieux. I like Tyson Fury, but that's way off the mark because the way Daniel Jacobs fights is nothing like David Lemieux. And in fact, it's not about triangle theories, but look at how they both fought Triple G. David Lemieux got blasted and lost every single round when he fought Gennady Golovkin. Daniel Jacobs, whether you had him winning or losing, at least was competitive and at least won some rounds and actually did better after getting knocked down. So I don't know where Tyson Fury is coming off saying that Lemieux and Jacobs will be the same outcome because they don't fight alike. And to me, you got to show me that because I've seen Jacobs fight. I watched him fight live. I was at the Jacobs Golovkin fight, and I don't see this Lemieux resemblance. I mean, even in the stature, Jacobs is a lot bigger. I've been next to both of them. Lemieux is a lot shorter, a lot more compact, and in my opinion, a lot more one-dimensional. So you had no problem going to Canada for whatever price to fight him, but now to fight Jacobs, to come over to Barclays, he's calling you out. You're saying I need $5 million. Eerily similar to what Jeff Horn has done with Terrence Crawford. The difference is that's his mandatory. You know what I mean? That's his mandatory. So he really should be fighting Terrence Crawford. Bob Arum wants to make the fight. Crawford wants to fight. And it's your mandatory. But even though I don't think Jacobs is Saunders is mandatory, he's been calling you out. And Jacobs is a notable, respected name in the division. And if you look at all the sanctioning bodies, Jacobs is probably ranked in all of them. You know what I mean? This is just off the top of my head, so I haven't looked to see his placement, but I can't imagine why he wouldn't be ranked with all of them, right? So to me, it sounds crazy. And lastly, this whole he don't sell in America, his style is boring. I mean, how many times are we going to use these excuses? Like Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn kind of fighting or talking about the Wilder fight. Nobody knows him in New York and bothering random New Yorkers. Hey, do you know Deontay Wilder? And they're, who, Dion? Like, that don't mean nothing. Because real boxing fans know who Deontay Wilder is. They want to see the fight, and that's your audience. You know what I mean? Some of your audience, okay, some of them might be casual, but everybody who counts, who actually studies and follows the sport, they know these fights. They know Daniel Jacobs. They know Billy Joe Saunders, right? They know the big fights and what's a good fight. So Jeff Horn and Crawford, it's just like this is a new tactic for people to throw out, oh, he doesn't sell or his style is boring. Nobody's trying to hear that. New media, 2018 it's about to get rough because no one's gonna fall for these. Oh, his last fight he only sold 2,000 or 3,000 people. When Billy Joe Saunders fought against that Wolverine dude, I don't know what the attendance was for that. I don't remember hearing about it doing some astronomical numbers. And that's the thing. If see, the UK, and this is starting to become a recurring issue. The UK is a great place. I used to live in the UK. I used to live in England. Fact, right? And it's a great place, but the whole demographic is different. So you can't really compare how they support their fighters, the UK public, how they support their fighters with other different countries. You know what I mean? So just be fortunate you're from the UK and you get support. And to my knowledge, since he's a traveler and gypsy, I don't know. I think that some people in the UK, from what I heard, dislike the Tyson Furies of the world and the Billy Joe Saunders. So to call someone else and say, oh, they're not a big star. I mean, are you a big star? But even if you are, it's the UK. It's different. You haven't even fought to my knowledge, I don't think Billy Joe Saunders even fought in the States yet. You know what I mean? Him fighting in Canada was a switch up. So it seems like this is the new tactic, calling someone boring, saying their style doesn't sell or they're a runner, asking for some kind of money that you probably won't get for this particular fight, right? And or saying that they don't put enough asses in the seats. And the funny thing is, you got to look at this stuff logically. Listen to what Saunders is saying. And this is how, like, where reading in between the lines comes comes into fruition. So using the Saunders logic, you want to get paid $5 million to fight Daniel Jacobs because nobody knows him, right? Listen to what he's saying. Like, just really break down the logic of what's being said. You say his last fight, he only had 2,000 or so people. He's not a big star and he don't sell in America, but yet you want an amount of money that is a pretty hefty fine for that non-star. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't really make sense. You know what I'm saying? So you're saying, I want this amount of money, which is a lot. You know what I mean? I think Canelo got $5 million for Floyd Mayweather, right? You want $5 million to fight a guy that you're also slamming and saying isn't a star. How does that work? So it'd be one thing if you're fighting Canelo, a known star, and you're like, hey, I want X amount of money. But if you think about it, it's almost like a conundrum, like an oxymoron, that you're requesting $5 million for a guy that you're saying has no star power, even though you know the fans would love the fight. You know what I'm saying? So he has no star power to such a level where you want this amount of money that you didn't even get when you fought Andy Lee, I'm sure. I don't know what he got for David Lemieux, but I don't think it was $5 million if I had to take an educated guess. You know what I mean? So why do you want more money to fight Daniel Jacobs than other people you fought? You know what I mean? And the other thing, the last thing I'll say is, why did you fight? If we're this is how these excuses and these negotiating tactics and stuff, this is how they always come back to bite the promoter, the trainer, the fighter, whoever's saying them. Because once again, if I look at Billy Joe Saunders' last 5 fights, everybody, using your logic, then everybody needs to be a bigger star than Daniel the Miracle Man Jacobs. Everybody, right? Everybody should be a bigger star. Because if your reason for not fighting Jacobs is he don't sell in America, then whoever you fought in your last fights, then they need to be packing stadiums. They need to be doing crazy numbers. They need to be putting asses in the seats, and they need to be recognized like Jacobs is with all the sanctioning bodies and stuff. You know what I mean? So when you fought that Wolverine dude who nobody knew, and the only reason people got a kick out of it is because he looked like Wolverine. Why did that fight occur? You know what I'm saying? It's just the same thing when people are like, oh, why should Triple G fight Erislandy Lara? Why did he fight Adama? Why was he okay to fight Willie Monroe Jr.? You know what I mean? If it's all about star power, then how can you fight anyone lesser than the guy you're trying to roast? You know what I mean? If Anthony Joshua shouldn't fight Deontay Wilder, a champion, because he doesn't sell out stadiums, what about Carlos Takam? What stadium has he sold out by himself prior to Joshua? How known is he? And he has losses. So that's how you can always break this stuff down. Same thing with Terrence Crawford and Jeff Horn, another recent example. Jeff Horn's team keeps talking about how Crawford is not sellable and he's no Conor McGregor. He doesn't know how to put on a show and build up the fight. Why you want so much money to fight him then? You know what I mean? Because you know he's good. So let's cut the bullshit and just call it what it is. You know Daniel Jacobs is a dangerous fight. It's a different stylistic matchup than David Lemieux, despite what Tyson Fury said, your friend. And you know it's a difficult fight. So now you want top dollar. Simple. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.